Hey everybody, Raven here, and today I have something very special to share with you. We have an entire collection binder here of contemporary coins that were altered or counterfeited. I know this says currency, but there's no currency in the binder. There is going to be currency added down the road, but I felt very fortunate of being able to borrow this and take it home to share it with you guys. There is so much stuff in this binder that it is unbelievable. You have right here what are called pattern dollars. Then the next page we have Hard Times token from 1824. We have a classic head half cent, and we have a chain cent that's been counterfeited. And the crazy thing is this chain cent, the original story was that the person that owned it cracked it out of a PCGS holder, but it was later sent in to be re-graded, and the PCGS sent it back and said it was counterfeit. Now let me see if I can get this to focus in on the coin a little better. You know what? We're going to turn on the scope. I don't know why it's not letting us see it good, but check this out. So this is the counterfeited chain cent from 1793, and you know, some counterfeiters do awesome jobs and others don't. This one, you know, like I said, the story was that it originally came out of a PCGS holder at a very low grade, but this coin, even in a low grade, is worth $14,000. So there's quite a bit of incentive for somebody to counterfeit that coin that way. That's the case with a lot of coins in here. Matter of fact, we're going to show you more items under the scope because there are things in here that are absolutely amazing. A lot of times, the way they find out if they're counterfeit or not is they just don't reach the parameters. They don't weigh the proper amount, or things look weird. Now, this next one I'm going to show you is called spark erosion counterfeiting. And this is basically like having a machine that you have a high-grade coin on one side, and then you have this machine that etches it over, kind of like how they make copy of keys, but they do it with the coinage. Now with these, the telltale sign in the big giveaway is the really deep surfacing of the rim. The rims back then didn't go, you know, that large. And let me focus in a little bit more so you can see what I'm talking about here. See if I can get it to... it doesn't want to... There we go. Okay, so you see how deep the rim looks on the coin itself, and that's one of the telltale signs in giveaways. And also that the wing on the eagle here sticks out almost like it's high relief. So that's one of the ways to tell if you have what is called, again, spark erosion counterfeiting. And it is a really classic way of them doing coins. We have quite a few here that are spark erosion. And, you know, you got to hand it to them. Some of these coins, if you didn't have a trained eye and somebody said, hey, look at this BU, American Flying Eagle, you know, it's the same size of the coin. But one of the dead tail giveaways is how deep the coins are reseated and made to look almost like they are high relief. You know, so let's show you one that's pretty interesting. We have a 1909, a number of 1909 SVDBs. Oh, but wait a second. I got to show you this one first. So this one was a Indian head that they tried to do with the spark erosion. And when you look at it, this is supposed to be an 1869 over 69. And it's kind of funny because when you get a good light on it and you see the lettering is really, or the numbering doesn't look right. Even though it's being taken off that coin, it has a really hard time doing the doubling or anything that's over one another because, you know, that kind of detail is hard to get to, but they try their hardest. So we have a number of 1909 SVDBs, and this one has an added S to it. So we're going to look at it under the scope so I can show you guys what we're talking about. So you can see right here the 1909 SVDB and how shiny around that S mint mark is, and then the way that it's lined up with 1909 and everything. That is a piece of metal that has been added later to, you know, an original VDB. So if you look at the back, you'll see VDB. So they took a 1909 VDB and added the S in the hopes of getting quite a bit more money. Now, the 1944s were often altered to try to make them 1914Ds because 1914Ds are quite expensive. Here you can see it's pretty darn easy to see that the 14 has such a wide gap between the 1, or between the 9 and the 1 there. And then this one, you almost don't really even see a 1. It's like they tried to wear it down a little bit more to make it that much more of a convincing counterfeit, so to speak. And I'm going to show you another one under the scope here in just a second. Some of these are a little bit harder to get out. But, you know, the guy that put this together, he did a lot of work to make sure that this could happen. Now, check this out, my friends. This thing is crazy. Matter of fact, you can pretty much see right away that the 4 is still there in the right reflection in the scope. You see right away that it used to be a 4. And you can also see that gap between 9 and 1 is so big because that's missing the part of the 4 that did that. I mean, this book has so much cool stuff in here, my friends. I mean, I'm telling you, you see all these 1909s and 1914s. Then you have a 1943 where somebody copper plated it, and they wanted to try to pass this off as a 1943 copper, which we all know that is like a holy grail item that would bring you a lot of money, especially in this kind of condition right here. But then, you know, the way that would have been found out is somebody would put it right up on a magnet and it clink right to the magnet. So you have a number of 43s that were plated. We have an 1885 counterfeit Liberty head right there. V nickel. We'll put it under the scope and take a look. Maybe we'll see some telltale signs. This is probably that erosion step. Yeah, and see how deep the edging is going on here, how shiny and reflective it is, how much detail it's missing for, you know, being a coin that's trying to be passed off as uncirculated. And a lot of times they'll do some what they call a little bit of whizzing on there to try to make it look authentic. But again, you can see it just doesn't look right, you know. You also have ones where, you know, they altered the date because there's only so many 1913 Liberty head nickels. I think there's 5 total. And this example is interesting because you can see right there how they've altered the date. You can see the discoloration and the kind of gouging that they put around the numbers. Because if this was truly a 1913 nickel, somebody would have just made hundreds of thousands of dollars if they could get that to pass as a real coin. It is mind-blowing, but everything out there is altered, or they have found ways to make counterfeits, like right here with a 1937D that's known to have the 3 legs. This one is one where somebody used a Dremel or some type of tooling to get the leg off of there. And then they add all these extra little scratches and different stuff to try to make it seem like, oh no, it's authentic. But excuse me, you can see right there the little chisel marks that are going down into the mound and everything. And that would take a coin that was, you know, worth about $1 and turn it into literally hundreds of dollars, you know, $300-400 in that kind of condition. The rest of these are the same thing, three-legged buffaloes with the legs removed. Then we have examples of mercury dimes where they have added the D or they have altered the date. There's one that's I'm going to show you that's pretty funny where they've actually glued two coins together. So here's the 1916. So this would be, you know, probably would be a Philly, could be a San Francisco, but they would literally alter the mint mark to try to make it look like a Denver so that they could get a lot more money. Now, as you bring this in, you can see not only is that D look really weird, it's kind of off in the place where it should be. Even though they did a lot of they did the stamping by hand back then, they were pretty consistent on Merc dimes, and you can see that this one does not cut the cake. Really cool example, but yet something that I think even somebody that was just starting out in coins would catch that had something weird going on with the D. Now, here we have the one that is made from two coins. This thing is just unbelievable. When you see it up front, it looks like a pretty worn 16D. You flip it over and you're like, okay, you know, that doesn't look too bad. And what they did was so that it didn't look like an altered mint mark, is they took two coins. Let me see if we can get it under the scope to see it this way. But they took two coins and they basically glued them together. I'm trying to get this to go to the edge so that you could see what I'm talking about. And it's going to be hard, but let's see if I can get this to focus in for us. All right, so you can see the edge there has an actual seam running down the center of the reeded edge. And so there was two coins literally glued together to make it seem as though there was a 1916D. And you would catch that right off. You would turn the coin to its side and go, oh, you know, I can see two of them glued together. But as we go on, we have 1896 Barber quarter. Beautiful coin in great condition. But in this one, they've added the S mint mark. In this one, it's pretty obvious because I'll show you this. The S actually has a different color than the rest of the coin, my friends. Check this out. So that would be a standout right away, you know, something to tell you, wait a minute, how do you have a gold or copper color S on a silver coin? And you know, these are things that you want to keep in mind and keep a lookout for when you're buying some of those higher end coins that are on eBay and whatnot. There are a number of people out there that just aren't honest about this stuff, guys, and so you got to be really mindful as to what it is that you're buying and know what to look out for so that you don't get stuck with some coin that was counterfeited and not worth what you'd subsequently paid for it. We have a 1932 Washington quarter key date. We have a couple of standing liberty quarters here that are counterfeits, but we'll look at this one under the scope and see what's going on the mint mark. And right there you can see it. It's pretty plain. We'll focus this in a little bit. And right there you can see it's like they just tried to fudge around. Maybe it was a Denver and they added extra metal. You know, or they scraped it off another coin and soldered it on there, but you can really tell that there's something really off. Not only that, the back of this quarter is very suspect as well, as far as the looks of it. So pretty darn cool. Let me get this to focus out, and we will keep going on. I apologize for such a long video, but I figured you guys would enjoy it this way. And I appreciate each and every one of you that supports the channel, helps me and my family do what we do, and then subsequently you guys are supporting the coin shows here in Mustang and in Norman, which I cannot thank everybody enough. That is really cool of you. All right, next item up We have a beautiful counterfeit seeded $50. And again, this is a great looking coin, but it doesn't weigh right and it is magnetic. So that's one of the things that you can do right away, is know to carry a good magnet with you to double check coins if you don't have a Sigma machine or something to test the silver, because you'd be amazed at how many counterfeit coins are out there. Now look at this one. This is one that is one of those copy coins again, where you can see the rim around the coin is super deep, and that's because the way that the electro etching does it, it's a copy of a copy, but they're not quite perfect in the way they copy. And we have some walking lib $50, a 49D Franklin, and then we have, check this out, these are dollars that would be worth thousands upon thousands, my friends. So of course they're trying to counterfeit and alter these as much as they can. They do a pretty, they try, and some of them they're super obvious and some aren't. This one, right off the bat, the color looks weird, so you would test it for magnification, and definitely it was magnetic. Here's another coin. This coin would be worth, literally in this condition, tens of thousands of dollars. And they did a good job at doing the antiquing and everything, but it's a counterfeit non-silver coin, which, these would be 90% silver, be really easy to touch, or to test, in a machine. You got a whole plethora of all trade dollars here that are all non-silver, magnetic. Here's one, though, that's 90% silver and counterfeit, that came out of a PCGS holder and then later sent back because they wanted to get a higher grade. Well, when they were looked at it again, it came back as a counterfeit, and this has multiple chop marks in it. So it assayed back in the time as silver. So it's a 90% silver coin. It's just it was called questionable authenticity is what the words were used when it was sent back. So it goes to show you that not even the coin companies, the grading companies, don't know everything perfectly. This is turning out to be an insanely long video, so I'm going to show you guys the rest of stuff that's in here to give you an example of things that you might see. Like, here is a counterfeit 1882 Carson City. You see 1882 there. You flip it over, one, it's got a rotated die, which can happen, but not very common with Morgans. And two, this does not weigh 26.7 grams. It weighs like 23 grams or whatnot. They're always off by quite a bit. You even have times where they remove the mint mark, such as this 1928 peace dollar right here, because the 1928 Philly was more rare. It was worth it for them to remove the mint mark, and we'll show it to you under the scope so you can get an idea of what to look for when you're looking at a coin like this and you want to know, hey, is it authentic, or did they do something to it? And so the mint mark would be right in here. And so they've put something over it, a chemical over it, to kind of make it hide the fact that they took away the mint mark. If I could get a little bit closer, which my scope is kind of not wanting to cooperate today, but it's one of those things that you really want to take a look at and see that that the surfaces aren't altered. Like this whole weird super whiteness thing, they're trying to do that to throw a person off from looking at it, and going, oh wait, that's not real, and they say, oh no, it's perfect. But you see that difference in the metals, that they've put something there to alter the way that the metals look. Now, this next group is amazing because there's a lot of people buying up a lot of Silver Eagles these days, and there's been quite a few things that have been shown on YouTube, different people that have questionable offers, Silver Eagles for under the price of ounce of silver, which when you see something like that, you should know if it's too good to be true, then it probably is too good to be true. Now check this out, my friends. We have everything in here is crazy. This is one that weighs 31.6 grams. You have 25.1, but on average, they're off by about 5 or 6 grams. These all say 25, 24, 26. That is the easiest way to know with your Silver Eagles where you're at as far as it being counterfeit is weigh them right away. You'll know right away, and you'll it's amazing because they have some technology out there that they're doing really good. I mean, you can look at here, I'll show you this. When you look at it, this Silver Eagle, it looks like a Silver Eagle. You know, it's got all the regular stuff there that it should have. It's a 2018, so it's got the right reverse. But when you've handled silver long enough and gold long enough, you kind of have an idea what an ounce feels like, and these feel just a little off. Your muscle memory will let you know, so the best thing to do is to make sure you have a digital scale and preferably a silver tester so that you can test your coinage. We have some really cool foreign stuff coming up. Right here we have the Maria Teresa Thaler that has the reeded edge, which it shouldn't. The edge should have lettering going on. So that's something that if you know about certain coins, that's a coin that would have edge lettering. This coin right here, from China, they call it the Fat Man coin. These are worth quite a bit if you can find an authentic one. However, there are a lot of fakes like this one, non-silver. You can tell by the weird color of the metal that it's, you know, an alloy of some sort. But, you know, there are coins where they make really good examples. The French Indonesia coin, or French Indochina coins right here, these are highly counterfeited. And the way you know is that they're magnetic, they're non-silver. You put them on a Sigma and it tells you, hey, this coin isn't legit. All right, next up we have some cool stuff here. We have a pattern coin from Hong Kong that's counterfeit, and again, simply because it is not silver. But this coin, if you found this and it's authentic, these are worth a lot of money, and that is why they're counterfeited. Almost every counterfeit coin has either a very high value or is very well circulated. Like the Silver Eagles, it's easy for them to make the counterfeits because there's so many of them out there. Now, here's something that's kind of surprising. I collect 8 real coins from Mexico, and you guys know me, I love the ones with chop marks and everything. So when I see this, right away what sticks out to me is the cap on the front. The cap doesn't look right. The lettering looks pretty good, but the cap just looks a little funky. Even though this is probably one of those ones where they used that, you know, machine that copies just like a key would. When you turn it over, it's got a complete rotation to the die, you know, and the eagle doesn't look right. It just looks a little bit odd. But they did a good job on the antiquing and stuff, and it looks like somebody tried to give it a little bit of a cleaning. You know, it's pretty neat stuff to see, and it's stuff that you might not see every day. Even like this cool little bar here is a counterfeit bar. It's not silver, but they did a really, really good job of making it look authentic, you know. And that's something that's pretty cool to see. You don't see it very often. We're getting to the end of the book here. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed what you've seen. I know that we've only showed so many under the scope, but this, if I did this any other way, this would take a couple hours to get through. So these are ancient copies. A lot of the times you can tell the counterfeiting because it doesn't weigh right, or it's not silver, and they just don't look right. Like this coin here, the Jewish shekel, doesn't look right at all. Like the metal, the way that it shines and stuff for that age, just looks very suspect. But let's And you can see that they did a good job of trying to make it look like an original coin. They even have the, it's not perfectly round and whatnot. But I'm pretty sure with this one, the same problem is that this is supposed to be silver, and it's not. All right, here we go into some stuff from France and Japan and Mexico. The 1 peso, oh, that's on the next page. You got a Bolivia counterfeit. These Hercules coins from France, they've been making these since the 1800s with the same design. Again, counterfeit, non-silver. You have Great Britain coin that's supposed to be from 1901. And right off the bat, it doesn't look that bad. But you turn it around and the reverse has a lack of detail and strange color in the metal. For a 2 shilling coin, you know, it's just one of those things that a trained eye is going to catch it quicker than others. You have a Italian coin here, the 5 lira. Again, the reals and the Japanese pattern dollar. And a Balboa from Panama that really looks suspect right off. You can see there's a lot of lack of detail in the actual figure, but the rest of the coin doesn't look horrible. But it's also dark in a way that, you know, when silver turns dark, it's like almost black. And that one just looks kind of odd, you know. And, of course, it's not silver. And that's a big no-no. All right, last page of the book here. And we'll show you the peso. It says 1903. A lot of these that I've seen are from 1908. And it looks like right there that the obverse of the coin is not even set right. The way that the artwork and design, if I remember properly, the 1 peso from this from the Philippines, she has her arm up, if I remember. But you know, I could be wrong. Sometimes I don't know everything. We have a 5 francs from Switzerland. Here's a fake one. I mean, they're all counterfeit in one way or another, or altered coins. Right there, 5 francs. It's supposed to be from 1869. And just doesn't line up right. And it doesn't weigh properly. All right, my friends. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. And a big shout out and thank you again to my brother and good friend who let me borrow this and trust me with his cool stuff. We even have a couple 2-ounce fake silver, and you can feel, my goodness, this is supposed to be 2 ounces and it feels like it weighs almost nothing. So that's kind of amazing as well. All right, if you want to correspond, it's ravenhawkcoins@gmail.com. Our P.O. Box is 721-296, Norman, Oklahoma, 73070. Like always, please make sure to take care of one another. We'll see you real soon. Ravenhawk Coins, have a great day.